everybody, Gina Mizell here alongside Moran. It is Tuesday at Oregon State practice. Of course, it is Civil War week. The Beavers travel to Autzen Stadium to face the Ducks on Friday afternoon. And we'll start with quarterbacks, and we'll start with one of Oregon State's quarterbacks, now at receiver, Seth Collins. We, of course, broke that story yesterday that he had moved to receiver, and we got to see more of it today during practice. He lined up out wide, he lined up in the slot, did take one snap at quarterback and threw a pass, but clearly they're trying him at a bunch of different options. I think he counted one catch during the portion that was open to the media. So what were your impressions of him out there?
Yeah, it was the one catch, and it was a play he was targeted for. I mean, It wasn't like he had drops or anything like that. We saw him talking with wide receiver coach Brent Brennan on the sideline. Clearly they're going over some stuff, but this is kind of maybe what we thought could have happened earlier in the year when a two quarterback system was discussed, and so it's interesting to see him now. Obviously he's got the wide receiver gloves on. It's almost like you're forgetting that he played quarterback, was a starter for a couple weeks. But it'll be an interesting look on Friday. He
had a very clean white jersey too. It's by far the cleanest of all the guys since it's brand new. But of course, this was a defensive availability day, as is every Tuesday. And the other quarterback on the opposite side, Vernon Adams, was a popular topic. Of course, he's having a great second half of the season for Oregon since coming off of that finger injury. And some Oregon State defenders are familiar with Vernon Adams because of that Eastern Washington game a couple years ago where he just torched the Beavers, and that was kind of a big breakout game for him. So they're a little bit familiar, at least some of those defenders are.
Yeah, one of the people we were both talking to, Levante Barnett, very clear memories of that game of, we were supposed to have contain on one play and Vernon got around him, and I'm sure there were plenty of other plays where that happened too. But no, I mean, obviously, the game won't be at Reser Stadium, so it won't necessarily have the same feel of Vernon Adams coming back to that venue. But just for a couple of those guys, it's a nice little, tidbit to kind of, tie that game together.
Yeah, of course, Oregon's offense, very explosive, top 10 offense in scoring nationally, and Adams had 6 different touchdown passes to 6 receivers, and of course, Oregon State's defense is pretty banged up. Again, the secondary is kind of in flux. Devin Chappelle was back out there, so that might be a good bit of news. But again, for a defense that has struggled all season, this is quite the finale for this group that it's been challenged all year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that we've seen lately too, even dating back to Cal, which has not had a ton of success running the ball, is Oregon State's really had trouble with its run defense, and that's going to, obviously Vernon Adams has kind of been the big key to turning Oregon's season around, but with Royce Freeman being the main back there, Vernon Adams was very adamant yesterday that he thinks Royce Freeman's the best, back in the country, and you could, clearly make a case for that. And then Darren Carrington, wide receiver, is a guy who's been back, combined with, someone like Braylon Addison, Dwayne Stanford. So there's a lot of options there that have made Oregon better as the year has gone on. At the same time, like you mentioned, Oregon State secondary has gotten more and more banged up. A number of walk-ons playing who like Gabe Outgard played admirably at times, but just don't quite have the talent you'd think to match up with Oregon.
Yeah, well, of course, tomorrow is an offensive availability day. We will talk to new receiver Seth Collins, hopefully. That's the plan, of course, and maybe we'll find out who is starting for the Beavers on Friday afternoon. Marcus McMarion and Nick Mitchell were splitting the first team reps today, so maybe that's still in flux, and maybe they'll both play, like Gary Anderson mentioned, after the game. So until then, stick with us on OregonLive.com and in the Oregonian. We have tons of Civil War coverage from both the Oregon side and the Oregon State side, so keep it with us, and we will catch you next time.